Good evening, ma'am.
Evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening. Could you all try the questions based on average speed?
Okay.
No, I'm asking. Put on your cameras first of all. Put on your cameras, everybody. How many of you try that average speed based questions?
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Yeah. I'm asking how many of you tried average speed based questions? The worksheet I shared last time. Tell me. Check the chat, please.
Ma'am, should we send answers?
Wait, hold on.
I didn't found like the questions like the homework.
Yes, ma'am. I also didn't
Please
got it.
share the answer of first question to me personally.
Ma'am, like I
Actually, I
didn't got
searched a
it.
lot, but I didn't find uh, the homework in the
Ma'am,
Visa.
I searched the whole app, ma'am. I cannot find any homework.
Here in the resource tab, it was uploaded.
Yes, ma'am. There only I searched, ma'am. I didn't find.
And the name of the file was also same, class C7 motion and time average speed questions.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, I
this is
sent.
C7 light.
Several students are able to find it and they are solving as well. Then why is the issue with you only?
Ma'am, what's the name?
C7 motion and time average speed questions. Okay, correct. Advita, only one of the student is there who solved.
I'm a joined just now, so what are we doing, ma'am?
We are just discussing the answers to the previous homework.
Okay.
Dear class
Ma'am,
7,
I didn't understand the third one.
okay. See, very clear. If you will not do the homework, if you will not practice the question,
Ma'am?
how will you develop the clear understanding of the topic?
Ma'am, I can still not find it, ma'am. I can't find any C7 motion in time.
Yes, please tell me.
Ma'am, actually, I was absent on Monday. So, can you summarize the topic?
Okay.
Ma'am, like, I found the question. Like, is this the questions?
Oh my God, you have copied all of the questions. That is it. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. I found it.
Yes, these are the questions only. Yeah. Okay. By tomorrow, I want everyone to solve this. I'm sharing the worksheet with you. Please see what type of questions were there so that you can find it on the app and solve these questions. Because numerical practices must for clear understanding here. The name of file is this C7 motion and time average speed questions. If you want, you can take a screenshot.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, it was there in the other content.
Yeah, please check it now. Means that might go in some other tab, but definitely if I've mentioned that I've uploaded, then it should be there in one or the other. Okay, let me summarize the topic for the one who was absent. I want Adrit to do the same. Adrit, can you please summarize the three topics we did in the last class? Uniform speed, non-uniform speed, and average speed.
I'm like in yesterday's class, half class.
Adrit, speak loudly.
Ma'am, like I got disconnected because of the network issue yesterday.
Yeah, but whatever you remember, you can say.
Ma'am, can you give me a minute?
Okay. Meanwhile, Aishwarya,
Yes, ma'am.
start with uniform speed.
Ma'am, so uniform speed is where like it takes the equal distance in equal time. Like it's called like uniform speed, and non-uniform speed is where like it takes equal distance but unequal, but not the same time. That's called like a non-uniform.
Okay,
It has not.
fine. Dipesh, any correction or can you explain it more clear?
Ma'am, actually, I was absent on Monday.
Okay, sorry. Sritij?
Ma'am, can I? Ma'am, when an object covers an equal distance in equal intervals of time, it is said to be in uniform speed. And when the object covers an unequal distance in equal intervals of time, it is said to have a non-uniform speed.
Great. Please look at the definition. You will understand more clear. Types of speed, uniform or non-uniform. By an example, if I explain, it's very simple to understand. Definition is still bit typical. Suppose you are riding a car and you found the highway all clear, okay, early in the morning. Then your speed was, for the whole journey, your speed was, let's say, 80 kilometers per hour for the car. And you were driving for about 10 kilometers, okay. So this was the speed throughout the journey. That's why it is known as the uniform speed. But as like another day, when you decided to go on the same path at the same time, you found crowd. It's not possible that we find the way clear every day. So first, when you just reach the speed of 80 kilometers per hour, you encountered the crowd and the market area, then definitely you were supposed to apply the brakes and your speed reduced to 50. Somewhat it reduced to 30 also. Then again you found the way clear, you increased your speed to 90 kilometers per hour. You can see a lot of variations in the speed. So such speed is known as non-uniform speed. Something which is not same, not equal, that is non-uniform. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, so in case of uniform speed, because if someone asks us what was the average speed, if it was uniform throughout the journey, no change was observed, then this is only my average value. 80 was the actual speed and 80 will be the average. But in case of this 80, 50, 30, 90, etc., we cannot tell. If someone asks you, means on average by how much speed you drove the car, then you cannot tell first 80, then 50, then 30. It's not, means what a joke, right? In that case, if we are supposed to find the average speed, it means we need to find the mean, right? Mean value, a single term for the overall altogether speeds. So for the mean value, what do we do usually? We take the total of any quantity which we are talking about. Let's say in speed, we are talking about the distance covered. So we say total distance covered divided by the total time taken, like you do in the marks scored in your 5 subjects in the school, right? What do you do? The marks obtained, the total of the marks obtained in 5 main subjects divided by the total.
Sum of observations by number of observations.
Very good. So this is how we find the average speed. I gave the example of marks obtained, but this is a formula for average speed. An average word itself means mean in other terms, which is total distance upon total time. And the 6 questions I just have shown earlier was the worksheet that I gave you. So I want everyone to solve those questions by the next class, please. And what I'll be doing that, you are supposed to share the answers with me personally in the chat so that I can see that how many are solving correct and how many are not. And it's okay. That's why I'm telling you that you will share the marks personally. If in case of wrong answers, if in case of I found that, few students are not getting the concept, I'll revise that. It's okay. Fine. Should we proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Should we proceed?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay. If anyone, the way you were absent, you want to note something down?
Yes, ma'am.
Note the examples that I have written written with the annotation, okay? Because else everything I'll be uploading on.
Okay, ma'am.
Other students, be ready with the concept of time. We are now beginning with the topic measurement of time. Noted?
Yes, ma'am, done.
Ma'am, noted, ma'am.
Okay. Quickly recall the units of time that we remember. We are going to revise that. First is measuring time. So what are the units of time basically we are familiar with? Because now our time in this advanced technology world, we have earlier we were using the wall clocks, then we switched to the table clocks, then wristwatch, that analog watches, and now we have the digital watches. You know, so much of advancement. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
we have seen the era from beginning from the wall clocks, but what before that? Okay, let's now
Ma'am,
begin.
sundials.
Wait. We'll begin step by step. Okay, don't hurry up. First of all, we know that time, what is time? It is just, you can say, something which is continuously, repeating its motion after a regular interval of time. Time, we can define this only. So earlier, how we used to measure, like basic concept behind time is rotation of Earth and revolution of Earth, because they are, we do not have exact and accurate idea since how long the Earth is in rotation and revolution and for how long it will be, right? So the time of concept is this only. And by the time, see, something very interesting I like about time is neither a friend nor a foe. It is just, it is just passing and passing. And something which we call is this only. This time is we have, all we have is present. Okay. So basically we have rotation and revolution of Earth. So maximum we can say the time unit is year. Then lesser than that we can say month. Lesser than a month we can say is
Day.
week. Then we can
Day.
day. In a day we have few hours.
Hours. Minutes. Seconds.
And then we have
Seconds.
Milliseconds.
yeah. Further, there can be nanosecond, there can be milliseconds, etc. And yes, more than a year also, we can say a decade, a century, a millennium, right? A lot more. But the fundamental, we can say is these, where second is the standard unit of time. Please mute your mic if somebody is talking. Second is the unit of time. So we all are familiar with these. Now let's learn little more. Just a second. Where should I write? Let's begin with 1 millennium. 1 millennium is how much time?
Ma'am, 1,000 years.
1,000 years.
Okay. 1 century is
100 years. Ma'am, 100 years.
okay. 1 decade is
10 years.
10 years.
right. Then comes an year.
Ma'am, 365 days and 12 months.
65 days.
Yeah, we can say either in terms of months, 12 months, or we can say 365 or 366 days. Next comes a month.
A month, 30 days.
And month is 30 days.
From 28 to 31 days. Next comes a week.
Ma'am, week is 7 days. 7 days.
Next comes a day.
24 hours.
Ma'am,
24
24 hours.
hours.
After 1 day, we have 1 hour.
Ma'am, 1 hour is 60 minutes. 60 minutes.
Ma'am, 60, 1 hour equals to 60 minutes. 60 minutes equals to
Yes, you have
3,600
this.
seconds.
Minute.
Ma'am,
3,600
seconds.
seconds.
And if I see 1 second, then
What? 100 milliseconds.
100 minutes.
100
Millisecond.
100 milliseconds. 1000 milliseconds.
1000 milliseconds. You first note this down so that I can, share another page.
Okay, ma'am.
Noted.
Ma'am, just 1 minute.
Ma'am, what the first you written
1
before
millennium.
century?
1 millennium. MILLENIUM.
Ma'am, once again, can you repeat? Ma'am, can you repeat once again?
Millennium. MILLENIUM.
Ma'am, what are nanoseconds?
What is?
Nanoseconds.
Nano stands for 10 to the power minus 9.
So is it less than millisecond?
Yeah,
Okay, ma'am.
because it is becoming 10 to the power 9 part of 1. Noted?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, only 1 minute.
Pardon?
Ma'am, 1 minute. I'm still writing.
Okay. Be quick, please.
Done, ma'am.
Ma'am, done.
Okay. So what happened in ancient time when no clocks were invented? That like I'm said, ask you the movement or revolution of Earth, and movement revolution of Moon around the Earth is also, it's a natural and fixed periodic event that keeps on occurring after a regular interval. And if you know that what is the time period called between the two full moons or the two new moons?
Ma'am, 1 month.
1 month, exactly.
Okay.
In that ancient time, people used to, know of the time by these naturally occurring events only. Okay, let me zoom.
Then what about the exact time? Now we say that the time is 7:03.
They were not worried about such particularity about the time. They were not so particular about this time. That's why, because no clocks were invented, and we did that time we did not have discovered the concept.
Ma'am, they can also depend on movement of sun.
Yeah, we will come to that point. I told you, please keep patience so that we can.
I'm so
Please
So-
mute your mic, 7th class. What is happening?
I'm so like in during those periods, like they were not like taking care of the exact time, like only morning, evening, afternoon,
If
and
you can
night.
please be attentive. If you know you have background noises, please mute your mics before that. May I please know with whom this such was happening?
Ma'am, Hamza.
Hamza.
Ma'am, my brother is just coming and disturbing.
Then you are supposed to mute your mic, please. This will not be tolerated anymore. And if you know you have the class time, go and select a silent place. There are many naturally occurring events that repeats themselves after a regular time interval, like say rising of sun. So if we look at the two consecutive sunrises, what is the time between the two sunrises means the time between two successive sunrises is called a
1 day.
1 day, or we can say 24 hours. The concept of day and night, the time between the sunrise and the successive sunset is called a
'Ma'am, it is 12 hours, right?
12 hours, we can say, or day and night concept simply because they were
Yeah.
worried about day and night. Now,
No, ma'am, basically the time period is 12 hours, no?
yeah. Next is the time between two new moons, or you can say the two full moons. Means it is same because you know after around I'm telling 14 days of time, the moon changes from a new moon to a full moon, and then it again proceeds from full moon to new moon. I hope you have learned this in class 4th and 5th, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So the time between two successive new moon or two successive full moons is called a month. And what about the year? The time the earth takes place to complete its one revolution around the sun. How can we know that earth has completed one revolution? We are not looking at
And by the seasons.
Ma'am, seasons.
Ma'am,
means
seasons.
of season tells them that an year is almost completed. Okay. After this period means we can say quite a long time ago, this used to be that people used to know about the time only this much. They were not worried about seconds because means there was no invention of that. Later on, a little specific they moved to little specific things, and then came the concept of, now let's say, time measuring devices or clocks. So a very great invention is a sundial, which is still present in Jaipur. Means one of the king of Jaipur means made the sundials in different places. One was in Mathura in Uttar Pradesh, in Jaipur, in Delhi, and I guess in one Rajasthan also, in different places.
When I went to Jaipur, I saw one sundial made by one king monk.
Okay, great. That's great. So concept of sundial was that it is a big circular plate. Okay, and we have beginning from the center point, we have a one triangular type of structure which is fixed. This structure is fixed. Okay, now the direction were marked east, north, west, and south. And when sun rises, the shadow is cast. The sun is rising. Now, because sun is at this place, it is an opaque object. This triangular structure is called a gnomon, Gnomon, because sun is here, so it will cast a shadow at this point. As sun keeps on moving, sorry, I made the wrong, I'll just be erasing it. So as the sun moves towards this point, you know, the shadow keeps on changing from west towards east. As it moves to this point, the shadow is cast here, and as it sets, it is almost here. You can say, you know, it begins from some, means there was not a fixed time interval. Some began to write at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., sorry, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Let's write it at 5 a.m. and end it at 7 p.m. Okay, because you know that there's complete dark at 7 p.m. at least. So this way, by the formation of the shadow due to the sun's light and this opaque object acting, this gnomon acting as an opaque object, the shadow casting on this disc told the time.
Ma'am, I have it.
Hmm?
Ma'am, but sometimes like after 6:30 or like 7, the sun is like not available, ma'am. So how will they know the time at that time? Like it's 7
This
o'clock.
was the limitation of sundial.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why, you know, all these time measuring devices had some limitation. The sundial, the sand clock, the water clock, and the burning of candle also was one of the concepts. All these had limitations. That's why we, means that is because only we are still moving towards the advancement, you know. And now also, now we have artificial intelligence. We have AI search in our mobile phones also. See, means science is just, you know, nobody can stop science in making advancement and making the life easier for us. So this was a limitation that sundial can only work during the daytime, after the sunrise and before the sunset. After night time, nobody knows what is the time. So it's okay, the time is passing, that's fine.
Ma'am, so the time is depicted by the shadow, right?
Yeah, the concept
uh,
was this only. The time is depicted by the shadow of the sun with the help of gnomon on the display.
Ma'am, but like, how do they like exactly decide the size of the triangle? But if it's big, like depending on the size of the object, the shadow also differs, right? How did they like exactly?
Yeah. There was certain dimension of the this disk and gnomon. Okay, very good question. I'll let you know the dimensions of sundial in the next class, not today. Okay, and yes, this is a homework for you people also. Please try to find out what were the dimensions to get the correct time.
Ma'am,
Hmm?
ma'am, the shadow that is casted also depends upon the place where the sundial is kept, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, is there any specific place used to be for
Means
sun?
place mean just this, that there should be no shade over it. And by your question, it strikes my mind that one more limitation of sundial is, if suppose it's a rainy day, if suppose it's a cloudy day, then also sundial will fail.
Yeah, like that was the question which I thought of asking.
Okay. Yeah, so it had lot of limitations, no doubt.
Okay, ma'am.
So not much to write, because you know we are no more using the sundials to look at the time. We just should have an idea that in ancient time, you know, the things how the people were using. So we just need to have an idea. So this much is enough. It measures time by the position of shadow cast by the sun. And the dimensions, you people please find out. Next was a sand clock, or known as the hourglass. Any idea? Okay, it's very clear, means anybody can understand that it is the shape of two glasses, two bowl-shaped glasses placed one over the another. And you know, the upper bowl is filled with the sand, and actually people used to fill the sand up to the level, so that when we connect them via tube, a very narrow opening inside that this tube is present, where like if it fills the tumbler that is kept below, it takes complete an hour. Now you can have an idea. Suppose this sundial is showing us the completion of an hour.
Yes, ma'am. I have a sand clock in our home.
By the observations and experimentation, we are trying to fill the sand up to the level, so that it takes an hour to completely fill the bottom glass.
Ma'am, can you see my screen? I have
Pardon?
the hourglass.
Sorry?
Ma'am, if you can see my screen, I'm showing the hourglass.
Just a second. Sritij. Is this Sritij?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me stop right there.
Ma'am, can you say my screen?
Can everyone see Sritij?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, so like, do the size of a hole also matters like in measuring the R?
Yes, size of the hole also matters.
Ma'am, so like, what?
And you know the reason behind calling this sand clock as our glasses, the sand was filled in that much quantity so that it takes complete an hour to get filled for the bottom glass to get filled up. So it uses the flow of sand from one glass bulb to another in order to measure time. Simple concepts of time measuring devices are there. Did you note?
Ma'am, by the time when the sand clock and sundial are invented, are the units of time like hours and seconds? They are also invented.
No.
So, like, how do they exactly know that the sand clock is exactly 1 hour, or how do they know it's that specific time?
Okay, wait, hold on. A very good question. Okay. Sundial, on the sundial, they have marked hours, 5, 6, 7. Okay, good question. So let us, collect all these queries of you people only, and let's try to find out and get the answers. That if they did not know about the hour, why did they mark 5, 6, 7, those numbers on the sundial? Right? Find out the answer of this question also. Note down this question, although I'll be sharing these on WhatsApp. So have you noted the two statements, sundial and sun clock?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
To the next. Water clock. Can anyone explain what was the concept of water clock? It we can see that a
Basically,
water.
Ma'am, so like, it also works as a
like
same as a R clock.
yes, ma'am. Like a water clock is a time play. It's a design made in which the time is measured by the regulated flow of water
Very
into or
good.
out from a vessel,
Hmm.
and where the amount of liquid can be then measured.
Yeah. So water is dripping out of the upper vessel and filling up the lower vessel. So again, let it take a complete hour, or it's not about only an hour. Let it take 7 hours, 6 hours, or some things like we can make our glass by ourselves also, which can take 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Any concept can be made up easily now also. But because we have the digital watches now, what is the use of these? One more type of clock was present, that is burning candle. Because the rate of they are made in such a way, water clock, sand clock, etc., that the rate at which the water is dripping out, the rate at which the sand is filling the lower vessel, the rate is same, means something with respect to time, means something which repeats after a regular interval of time. So by the concept of periodicity, that something is repeating itself after a fixed time. So by the concept of periodicity, we reach to the level of the wall clock and all. Okay. And before that, I'll explain the concept of pendulum, because pendulum only explains periodicity well. So let me explain the fourth type of ancient time measuring device was burning candle, because candle also, if it is lit once, it will burn out at the same rate till it gets completely reduced to zero. It burns at the same rate. So they used to mark 1, 2, few markings were there. Okay. From 1 to 2, If it has burned from point 1 to 2, the 1 hour has been, it's been 1 hour. Then 2 to 3, again it's been another hour. Okay, like that, this was used to measure the time measure.
Ma'am, do this burning candle have a like special location on it?
No, why location? It is just based on the burning or melting of candle, you can say.
Ma'am, like the place where air is like not there. Like
Dear, now you can put it in a glass case. That's simple.
okay.
Noted the 4, all 4.
I'm just one.
Ma'am, so like basically in a candle, when the numbers are marked, it's not like exactly 1 hour, but it's like, equal.
Yeah, they were
time.
just working. Yes, they were working for the approximation. No accuracy was present.
So ma'am, when are these units are invented?
What in, okay, hour, minutes, and seconds, and those wall clocks you are asking, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. They were okay. Let me get the time also. The idea of the year and when they were discovered, they were invented. You people also please try to find out. Okay, in homework. So we'll continue with the same your queries in the next class. Okay, and by the next class, I want all of you to solve the worksheet on average speed, please.
Okay, ma'am.
Bye. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.